pull 2 onions out of the ground on the same afternoon. Same variety, same seed tray, planted the same week. One fits in your palm, about what you'd grab off the shelf at the store. The other, you need both hands, and it's still shedding dirt off the roots. 3 backyard decisions are the difference between those 2 onions, and every one of them is free or close to it. Get all 3 right, and the bulb underground can come out close to double the size. Same seed, same season, same amount of work. My onions ended up split between 2 beds this spring. One planted the usual way, one planted differently, almost by accident. 20 feet apart, same soil, same water schedule. The size gap wasn't small enough to ignore. One of the 3 has nothing to do with fertilizer or watering. It's something you'd plant close enough to that onion that most people would swear it's stealing water and nutrients right out from under it. That onion still comes out bigger because of it. That gap between my 2 beds is what got me paying closer attention to what I'd actually been doing differently with onions over the years, not just that one season. And the first thing on that list happens before the plant even looks like an onion. Onions start life as a grass. Thin green blade, nothing underground yet. Everything a bulb eventually stores comes from those leaves, not straight from the soil. The leaves pull in sunlight, convert it, and that gets packed down into the bulb later. So if the plant never builds enough leaf mass early, there's nothing to draw from once bulbing starts. A skinny top means a skinny bottom. No way around that. That's why the first move is nitrogen, heavy and early, and it's not subtle. Something in the 24-8-16 range works. Blood meal works too if you want its slower release. When I transplant, I'll put down a liberal amount of a 5-5-5 organic blend right at planting, and it breaks down slowly enough to keep feeding for weeks. Every 2 weeks after that, another handful goes down while the tops are still building. Here's where I'll disagree with anyone who tells you to just keep feeding heavy the whole season. Once those tops are solid and green, that nitrogen stops being a help and starts working against you. Keep pushing it, and the plant keeps doing exactly what nitrogen tells it to do: grow leaves, never redirect. That's the pivot point. Back off and let a more balanced feed take over from there. I'm not the only one who's landed here either. I've seen growers with a lot more seasons than me describe the same shift, switching from an all-purpose fertilizer used all year to something phased by growth stage, heavier nitrogen early, backed off once the tops are established. One grower with over a decade of experience put it about as plainly as I could. Root vegetables did noticeably better the year they stopped feeding the same blend from spring through fall and started matching the fertilizer to what the plant needed at each stage. Different backyard, same mechanism at work. Onion roots are shallow. They stay right at the surface. They don't chase water down deep the way a tomato root does, which means an onion that gets watered inconsistently, soaked 1 week, forgotten the next, isn't going to die on you. It'll survive fine. It just quietly stops getting any bigger. A shallow-rooted plant missing water for a stretch doesn't wilt and quit. It gives up on growing further. The same way a savings account you keep dipping into is still there, it's just never going to grow. Onions need steady moisture at that surface level the entire time they're bulbing, not a good soak followed by a dry week. The setup that's worked best for me is drip line run between every row, emitters spaced about every 12 inches. That's close enough that the whole bed stays evenly damp at that shallow root depth without me having to think about it daily. If you're hand watering instead, that just means checking more often than feels necessary, because the surface dries out faster than you'd expect. I'll be straight about something else here too. I can't rule out every variable in my own beds. The rows that had drip line also got an extra feeding or two of a soluble 20-20-20, because that's what I was using on the peppers planted alongside them, and some of that likely reached the onion roots too. So I won't stand here and tell you water consistency alone explains a doubling in size. What I will say is 1 or 2 extra feedings doesn't usually account for a gap that large on its own. It's the water, the fertilizer timing, and the third thing I'm about to get into, stacking on top of each other. That's a more honest answer than pretending I isolated one variable perfectly, and it's closer to what's happening in a backyard anyway. Soil plays a role here too, and it's worth naming instead of ignoring. Loose, easy digging soil lets roots spread and pull moisture more efficiently than compacted clay, even on the exact same watering schedule. If your soil's dense and hard to dig, you're working against yourself no matter how well you time the water. Loosening that bed up before you plant next time will do more for you than any drip kit will. Feed and water only take an onion so far. What decides how big that bulb gets is how much room it has at the surface, clear of anything else pulling from that same shallow layer. That part is the piece most people never touch, and it's where the size difference comes from more than anything else. Before any of this pays off, there's a variable that sits underneath everything else, and it has nothing to do with fertilizer or water. Onions bulb based on day length, not temperature and not the calendar. Short day varieties bulb once daylight lands somewhere around 10 to 12 hours. Long day varieties need 14 to 16 hours before they'll bulb at all. Where you live decides which one you're supposed to be growing, and getting that wrong undercuts everything else in this video. Plant a short day onion too far north and it bulbs early with underdeveloped leaves, so you get a small onion no matter what you feed it. Plant a long day onion too far south and your days may never get long enough to trigger bulbing properly. Check which one matches your latitude before you plant next time, not after. One more thing worth a quick mention. I used to plant onion sets, those small pre-grown bulbs in a mesh bag at the garden center, and it cost me a couple of wasted seasons before I figured out why they kept bolting to flower instead of bulbing. Onions are biennial, a 2-year plant, and a set is already partway through that clock when you buy it. Get the timing wrong and it thinks it's further along than it is and skips straight to flower. Growing from seed sidesteps that completely, and it also guarantees you know exactly which day-length variety you're planting, which a bag of mixed sets usually won't tell you. Get the latitude right and start from seed, and now the 3 tricks actually have something worth working with. Most people assume planting 2 crops close together means fighting over the same water and nutrients. Onions next to tomatoes or peppers looks, on paper, like exactly that mistake. It isn't. Onion roots stay shallow, right at the surface. Tomato and pepper roots go down deep, pulling water and nutrients from a completely different layer of soil. They're not splitting the same resources at all. Most people see 2 plants sharing a bed and think competition, like 2 people splitting one pizza. Onions and peppers aren't splitting the same pizza. They're not even eating in the same room. I'm not the only one who's seen this play out either. Growers who've tried lining the edges of their beds with onions next to tomatoes and peppers describe the same thing I saw. Onions in those rows coming in noticeably larger, while the ones left on their own in a separate bed looked thin by comparison. That isn't just my own 2 beds either. More than one grower has described the exact same pattern, which is exactly why I trust it as one of the 3 and not just a hunch. There's a second benefit that has nothing to do with roots at all. Onions are alliums, and alliums give off a scent that tends to keep a number of common pests away from whatever's planted next to them. So you're not just avoiding competition underground, you're likely getting a bit of pest protection on your tomatoes and peppers at the same time. If your bed is tight on space, you don't need to space every onion out individually either. Planting 2 or 3 onions close together in the same hole instead of one at a time doesn't cost you size the way you'd expect. They push apart from each other as they grow and still bulb out close to full size, which gets you more onions out of the same square footage without giving up much on any individual bulb. And if you're wondering whether that tomato or pepper is going to shade out your onion the moment you put it in the ground, the timing usually solves that on its own. Onions go in the ground weeks before your last frost date. Tomatoes and peppers don't go in until well after it. By the time that pepper transplant shows up next to your onion, the onion's already established, already has a head start on leaf growth, and isn't sitting there getting shaded out by a seedling that just went in the ground. That's the whole argument this video has been building toward. It was never about a magic fertilizer or nailing a perfect watering schedule down to the day. It was about giving the onion room, right at that surface where its entire root system lives, to use everything else you're already giving it. Once you've grown them out bigger, don't undo that work at the finish line. Let the neck fall over while the top's still mostly green. That's your sign it's ready. Get your hand underneath and lift from the base instead of pulling from the top so you don't strain or damage the neck. Then cure it 2 to 4 weeks in a warm, shaded, ventilated spot before you store it. Skip that step and a bigger bulb can still go soft on you faster than it should. Storage and preservation is really its own video, one I'll get into properly another time. For now, just don't skip the cure. Go take a look at your onions today. Check the tops first, thin and sparse or already building. Check the moisture at that surface level. And look at the open space around them. Ask if something with deeper roots could be using it too. If this is the first time trying any of this, subscribe, because the harvest and storage side of this is coming in a future video, and it builds directly on what you grow this season. I put together a free planning calculator on the website that maps out spacing and root depth, so you're not guessing when you're combining crops like this. Links in the description if you want to plan the rest of your beds before you plant. Don't leave that space next to your onions empty this season. It's the cheapest fix on this list, and it's the one almost nobody uses.